TGC Requiem. We are back with Shadow Grixis. I will say, I played our opponent. I actually played our opponent last night or earlier today. He was on Shadow Abzan, so we have a pretty good idea of what he's probably playing. I actually think this hand is plenty good. We'll go ahead and keep. Let's see, we definitely want to start with probably blue-red, or blue-black rather. So I think we probably are looking to take the Inquisition here. This allows us to push if he goes into Tarmogoyf the next turn. Maybe he was actually playing, I was pretty sure he was playing Abzan. An Abzan Shadow deck. I ran the Architect's Will, but I don't remember ever seeing a blue mana source from them. Now, I'm pretty sure I was playing Shadow Jund Aggro, which I keep saying that I'm going to record a video of. I played it in 5 leagues. It's just like a more aggressive version with the Teamer Battle Rage, Become Immense combo, and I think I've run it through a couple 5-0s, a couple 3-2s, and 1-2-3 in the 5 leagues that I've done with it so far. Definitely feels extremely explosive in some matches and struggles a bit to grind like the other Death Shadow Jund does in some matches, so I think you catch a lot of people off guard. So alright, so we got Overgrown Tomb, we got a Street Wraith. So he's probably looking to cycle Architects here. We're not really worried about Tarmogoyf, so we're going to run out a Blood Crypt. Street Wraith, Snapcaster. I think we're going to put Snapcaster on top and Rainforest on top of that. And I think I'm just good to Thoughtseize here. 3 Tarmogoyfs, huh? Well, we got Push, and then we have Snap Push that handles the first couple. I think we want to make him have to spend the effort to cycle the Architects of Will himself. So we're going to take one of these Tarmogoyfs. We have the other 2 essentially handled. I can only put one out at a time, so we're okay with that. Don't know that we need to crack the Misty as of yet. Don't know that we really want to reveal that we have a Snapcaster either in case he draws into some hand disruption. So I'm thinking here we're probably just going to push the Goyf on his turn. Alright, so we know he Probably could have or should have played his Verdant Catacombs there, just so that we wouldn't know that that was one of the cards he had drawn. One of the benefits of having all these cycling cards is it makes it hard for the opponent to know what you might have. Okay, Lingering Souls. One of the benefits of Abzan. So assuming he's going to try and go for Lingering Souls and Tarmogoyf next turn. I think we just kind of wait and see what he wants to do here. I mean, the problem is if he plays... Actually, we've gotten rid of 2 Tarmogoyfs. He only has 1 Tarmogoyf left. If he plays and goes to crack the Verdant Catacombs, well, no, he has too many cards in hand for us to even make him. See, now we know that was another card, so he's got at least 1 more land in hand. Saw that coming, and then I assume we're going to get a, yep. That's what I expected. So we're going to snap in to some Fatal Push action. We're unfortunately on like a 2-turn clock here. I think we're just happy to attack with our Snapcaster Mage. Hopefully he blocks it and we can... Excellent. So we can Kolaghan's Command, returning Snapcaster to our hand. Possible we want a Street Wraith here. I'm just trying to be a little cautious. So we're going to return target creature card. Yes. So we want to return Snapcaster and do 2 damage here. Meanwhile, we're slowing down the clock on us. If we draw another land, we can start playing Street Wraiths as creatures. Alright, so we officially don't know what he has left in his hand. Well, that's problematic. Sees none of these things really do anything for us. So we are going to just cycle the Street Wraith here. Hope we draw into something special. We don't. He's tapped out, so you know we can't even really snap into a Serum Visions here. We can't even snap into a Thoughtscour, yeah. So we're just kinda boned. We can wait till combat, flash in a Snapcaster Mage to block the Death Shadow, but there's almost no way we draw out of this. It's a real bummer that we're not going to be able to get any value out of our Snapcaster here. It's just a ambush gardener snake. Just double checking, but almost certain there's nothing we can draw here. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and concede. So we're on the play there. Lose turn 7. I actually think there's some interesting stuff with Shadow Abzan. Alright, so I don't want to pull all of our lightning bolts. I do think those are potentially very good. One of the best parts about the black-green shadow variants is that Abrupt Decay can't touch Gurmag Angler or Tasigur, but they're playing white, which means they actually have access to Path and presumably even Orzhov Charm. So we probably want to bring all of these in. We definitely want to bring these, and it's possible even the Kolaghan's Command. I think we want the Lilies. It's quite a bit. We're going for a grindy approach. Actually, I don't know that we need all those Stubborn Denials. 2 is probably plenty. Thought Scour is good. We can even start firing Thought Scour at him if we have Surgical Extractions. Kind of okay not running as much in the top deck, although, or the, in terms of top deck mode, just trying to play a more grindy game. Just more powerful cards in general. I'll think about this. I don't want to pull all the bolts because Bolt Snap Bolt is a thing that can just kind of I guess be a important part of this matchup. But I don't know that we have enough. I don't think we need these 2. Spell Bomb is more important against him than he would necessarily be using it against us. Probably don't need the Kolaghan's Command. Turn target creature card. I think the third one's more for when we're actually going to be playing like artifact type decks. I feel like I want all the rest of these cards, which means we'll probably keep a Thoughtseize. Oops, keep one Thoughtseize in, just pull the rest of the Hand Disruption. Some people like to pull it. I don't know. Typically with Jund, you like to pull that stuff out, and that way you have access to. Oh, you know what? Really, it's Thought Scour that should come out. That's my bad. We should be keep pulling Thought Scour there. We're going to be playing a long grindy matchup. Thought Scour doesn't really do. It's not as important here in that regard. This is actually pretty good though. Thought Scour, Tasigur. As long as he leads on like an Inquisition and not a Thought Scour, we should be able to get turn 2 Tasigur. We're going to keep this. Start with Verdant Catacombs. It cannot get us the a Steam Vent, so we're gonna save the cards that can for later. So he's probably looking to hold up Fatal Push here. Maybe he's looking to hold up Surgical Extraction. So we're going to go for a black-red here, especially now that we've drawn that island. So really hoping he just doesn't have a path. Pretty hard for him to deal with otherwise. It's going to cycle an Architects of Will. Leads in with the Thoughtseize. Almost certainly he's going to go for Liliana here, so there's really no point in firing off the Surgical for value. He's got to be really nervous that we might pull a Thoughtseize and Thoughtseize Surgical Extract him. So we just peel the Liliana anyway, that's pretty great. It's possible we should be down ticking there to try and feed our graveyard a little bit, but at this point I want to try and make sure we get a chance to have 2 shots at that if necessary. I do admit the Architects of Will being a castable creature on 4 mana that gives you a kind of a pseudo scry 3 or a sort 3 is pretty good in these decks. You know, there's a lot of situations where you could play an Architects of Will as a creature where you couldn't play a Street Wraith. Of course, obviously Street Wraith has so much other synergy, it's tough to replace that. Going for the path. And it's just doing this to try and make sure we can't use the land this turn. I think we cycle here and look for a Stubborn Denial. Don't get one, that's fine. Alright. That is what we're looking for. We don't really need to do much damage to ourselves here. Looking at our opponent's hand. He's got Push and a couple Lingering Souls. Tarmogoyf's, Traverse, Painful Truths, Ranger of Eos, that's pretty much dead now. Oh, that's right, he was running Viral's the Scar Striped. So this card's actually pretty interesting. You can sacrifice another creature to regenerate it and then put counters on it to scavenge. So, you know, late in the game you could scavenge a Death Shadow from the graveyard. It's an 8/8. So for 1 mana you could put like 8 counters on your Virals. Pretty neat thing. So I'm just going to write this down real quick. We got Push. Come on. Snip. Alright, so we're okay here. With Fatal Push, I don't know. I think we just want to uptick Lily here, knowing that he has that. You know, when we failed to play a land, getting a bit distracted there. But knowing that he has that Lingering Souls, I think just upticking Lily makes the most sense. Make it really hard for him to actually use that to put pressure on us. So he used the he just played a swamp that turn. Yeah, we're just gonna uptick. That's fine. Play our Death Shadow. Play a land. We know he has a push. Gonna crack a Catacombs there. So he's going to try and get all the spirits out at once. I think we went the red here. And then we'll be able to just push one of his spirits here. We also know he has cast the Lingering Souls, recast it. One of his 4 cards. She plays non. He actually plays a non, or a fetch that we. Instead of playing the fetch we knew about, he plays a shock there. Could be that he's down to his last shocks. His fetches don't do anything. We don't have any basics left. So we could just plan to snap Fatal Push here. I think we feel in pretty good shape here. I'm going to hold back though. I'm not going to fire this off quite yet. I'm content to just keep using the value train. Three, 4, so not a whole lot we can do about this. There's not even a time to snap in between. So here we have a consideration of whether or not we want to snap Surgical Extract, like a path from his hand, or snap Fatal Push one of these spirits. I think right now we want to snap Fatal Push one of these spirits. And there's nothing that I'm like dying to kill here. I think we're good to attack with both of our creatures. We're fine trading the Snapcaster Mage. Actually, I'm not fine trading Snapcaster Mage. He didn't block either. We could have Surgical Extracted for a little more damage, but unnecessary. So he's a bit desperate, drawn. Wipes out our graveyard, that's fine. He's got to make a decision. Yeah, so he's splitting them up here. One at us, one at Lily, because he's just trying to keep Lily off ultimate while simultaneously trying to put pressure on us. Presumably going to have another creature, Tarmogoyf here. Big Game Hunter, sure. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. And a Tarmogoyf. What do we want to do here? So if we kill another of these spirits and he attacks with everything, we could snap. Kill. Yeah, I think we actually just keep doing what we're doing here. And we'll just hold everything back to block. If he sends everything at Lily and doesn't have a backup, we could just not block and plan to flash and Snapcaster for beats. Sending everything at Lily. So that we could definitely chump with Tarmogoyf here. Chump the Big Game Hunter. This puts Lily down to 6. I just don't know that we need to chump anything other than Tarmogoyf. You know, that's kind of a mistake. What I should have done is surgically extracted there, because I would have gotten to see his hand and seen if Snapcaster would have been enough to win. That's a little frustrating. Fulminator Mage, pretty decent here. We're just gonna uptick, get rid of that spirit. There's really no value for him to leave Big Game Hunter back to block if Liliana lives. So we will try and do that Surgical Extraction play this turn. We still may have a scenario where we can Snapcaster into Surgical Extraction. So we're going to go for the Fatal Pushes here since he's already gotten 2 paths. Just 2 lands, so there is a chance that he can heal spell bombs, but for the moment we're just gonna grab Fatal Push, Fatal Push. Probably pulled a couple Fatal Pushes out. He actually only had 2 paths, so no, he had 3 paths. Okay. Marsh Flats and Catacombs. we're just going to let that happen. Go ahead. Attack Lily. He's kind of on like a one-outer here. He's got a Nihil Spellbomb and hope he hits his path. And in response to Snapcaster's trigger, he's gonna get his things. And then this other Snapcaster pretty much resolves the game. Yeah, he's just making us spend the time because we're running a little low. So we get the win there, turn 12. Draw. So I think we're gonna actually, especially on the draw, cut a couple or bring a couple Thought Scours back out, and bring a couple. We're gonna bring at least one Thoughtseize back in. And it's possible we want a Stubborn Denial just to increase our odds against some of the removal. It's a little dead though. I think we actually probably are good with just bringing that third Thoughtseize back in. So a bit of a grindy game. Down to 7 minutes, so we gotta make sure we're playing a little crisper here. This is fine. It's not the best, but we don't have any like the best cards for him to take either. So it's going to make his early turn Thoughtseizes maybe a little weaker. Don't know that I even care about anything here. Go ahead, have your way, sir. Stubborn Denial. So it's probably sitting on a Lily draw. And I just want to hold up Fatal Push here for Tarmogoyf. And so we'll go get black, blue. And then I'm not so worried about him having Surgical Extraction after seeing 2 Nihil Spellbombs. Let's take a new screenshot here for the moment. And okay, we're good. Again, he's looking at a Lingering Souls draw. Got a little bit of stuff to worry about there with Abrupt Decay to handle the Liliana. Okay, so he actually Abrupt Decays the Nihil Spellbomb, and we are totally cool with that. We're still going to get rid of his graveyard. That just actually makes Liliana stick where she would have died. It's going to be a bit of a bummer for him. has a Shadow and 2 Lingering Souls. Right now he can't get to that Lingering Soul, or that Death Shadow. Traversing for land. Let's see. Yeah, we're still just, based on the situation we want to uptick, he's going to be a little slow with we are going to just play that out there. So next turn we may just be able to plan to... Oh, 2 Death Shadows. Oy. Well, we could plan to kill one of the Death Shadows with Lily. So we're going to make him discard a card, kill one of his Death Shadows. And then we'll just jam in Tasigur. Right now we know he doesn't have anything that's going to make his shadow bigger. Just another Lingering Souls. I think we just have to kind of take here. Alright, so Snap Fatal Push is pretty excellent. Just like we expected. We could Surgical Extract at the Death Shadow, but I think I'd rather let him use up his mana casting all these spirits. Unfortunately, he's in a position where he's going to have to chump with these spirits. And I think we're good. Before he does anything, we just want to... Let's think about this. We want access to blue-black, probably. So he can give us like Stubborn Denial or Surgical Extraction. If he gives us Surgical Extraction, we're going to get rid of his Death Shadows. And that leaves him with almost no real threats left. So he's just trying to take us to time now. Even a path becomes a very difficult play here for him. Virals, but nothing to make it bigger with, nothing to regenerate it with. And then we'll just throw that Death Shadow down, and that should be game. That's game! Is he gonna go get a Ranger of Eos? I think he's on the I hope my opponent... Alright, there we go. Alright, I do like his Abzan build. It's pretty neat. Virals can be pretty good in scenarios, so that's kind of cool. Obviously, Surgical Extraction plan worked really well there, as we got rid of all of his Tarmogoyfs, all of his Death Shadows. He was down to one more Lingering Souls, I think a Ranger of Eos. And yeah, let's see, we had a Ranger of Eos. I guess he had his Street Wraiths that he could have drawn into. Didn't have that anymore. Just the one Ranger, none of these. I guess he had an Architects of Will technically, but he couldn't cast it because of the lack of blue mana there. So, anywho, Grixis Shadow, it's pretty good, nice and grindy, plays a little more control-y. I haven't played as many matches with it, so I may be a little more prone to mistakes and a little slower than I am with the Jund version, but I hope you enjoy watching it.